Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Brandy, and I'm a career facilitator here at Goodwill Columbus in the Workforce Development Department. Today, we are going to learn how to refresh your resume through design. But first, make sure you like and subscribe to our Facebook page and our YouTube page. And also, make sure to follow us on LinkedIn. Let's get started. Okay, refreshing your resume. How to do that through design. Why refresh? Refreshing your resume provides many benefits. Your resume should be visually appealing, concise, and organized. So, how to do that? Step one, emphasis. When refreshing your resume, make sure the following sections are emphasized: your name, your contact information, your experience, and your skills. You can emphasize by making sure your name is the largest item on the page, increasing the font size, using capital letters, or bolding. You can also emphasize by creating headers for sections throughout the page, and you can do that again by utilizing bolding, underlining, and capitalization. So for the first step, here are some examples. You see the before, you can't really tell the difference between her name and the rest of the page. Everything is kind of meshed together. You can't tell the difference between the sections, but in the after, she capitalizes her name, bolds it, and the sections are also bolded so you can tell which section is which. The second step is adding white space. So when refreshing your resume, make sure there's enough white space on the page. I can't stress that enough. White space ensures that your resume is readable, meaning it's not cluttered. You can add white space by using margins. So 1-inch margins are the standard. 2, creating resume sections. You should have sections for experience, skills, contact information, and more. Make sure you tune in our upcoming weeks, to learn what sections you should have on a resume. 3, adding space between those sections. And 4, being concise. So resumes should only be 1 to 2 pages long. And if you keep it to 1 to 2 pages long, that means that there's a good chance you'll have lots of white space on your page. Here's an example of adding white space to your resume. So before, Jane Doe doesn't have a lot of white space. Everything is meshed together and the sections aren't really separated. But in the after, you can see that she's added her 1-inch margins. There's spaces between the bullet points and spaces between the sections on her resume. The last step and the third step, using colors and fonts in order to refresh your resume. Before we get into this step, make sure you understand that this will not apply to everyone. If you are working in a conservative field, you will not be adding colors to your resume, and you want to keep in mind the fonts you're using. But if you are working in a more creative field, like marketing or design, consider this. When refreshing your resume, changing the fonts or colors is acceptable within reason. Number 1, determine your audience. Number 2, keep it simple. And 3, be strategic. So, only use 2 fonts max when you are refreshing your resume. Sans serif fonts are easy to read and a standard among resumes. Make sure if you are using different fonts and you only use 2, You're using a font for the header and a font for the body. Now, if you are one of those people that would be able to get a little creative and add color to your resume, keep this in mind. Again, using 2 colors max throughout the page. Try to stay within dark colors when you are putting colors on your resume. Understand your audience. So again, if you are in a creative field, this would be acceptable, but if you are in a conservative field, this most likely would not be acceptable. And then know how to navigate the applicant tracking systems. So say you do add a color to your resume, make sure you save that resume in PDF form. That way, when it's uploaded, it keeps the integrity of the document and it'll still be readable for the viewer. Here's an example of adding different fonts and different colors to a resume. You see in the before, Jane Doe's resume is all black and she only has one font throughout. But in this after, Jane Doe has added 2 different colors, a darker color and a lighter color, to emphasize her contact information, with the body text being black, and she has also used 2 different fonts to make her words stand out. So, what did we learn today? Let's review. When refreshing your resume, make sure that you add emphasis, you add white space, and then if you have the opportunity to, add colors and fonts. You can do the above by bolding, so make sure you're bolding important sections. 2, using margins, so 1 inch is the standard. And 3, using colors and fonts strategically. Keep it simple. Well, that'll be all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media pages. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.